How's it going, Laser Bruce? I'm Bobby Sixkilla, and welcome to a breeding guide for Pokemon Sword and Shield. This is something I just thought I might do to show you my process. This is in no way a definitive guide, and this is really designed for new players or people that are casual Pokemon players that want to get more into the competitive side. So what we're going to do is run through a single process of what we're going to need to breed for max IVs, which will be 5 IVs. We're breeding for 5 IVs. Occasionally you'll need to breed for 6. That just takes a better Ditto or a lot more time and luck. I guess I should run through what IVs are for those who don't know. Basically, IVs are just a random number generated for each stat for each Pokemon that determines how good it is in a single stat. IVs range from 0 to 31. If they have 31, that means that it'll gain 31 more points at level 100 than a Pokemon that has 0 in that stat. So each IV equals 1 point at level 100. Technically you want them as high as possible, unless you're doing something like you need something with 0 speed for max gyro ball damage or trick room teams or that kind of stuff, but we're just going to be focusing on the basics here. So today we're going to be breeding a Duraludon. We are going for a modest nature with max HP, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. So everything except attack. So first I'm going to run you through all the things you're going to need. So the most important things you're going to need when breeding are an Everstone for carrying over natures. That can be found on the ground in Turfield near the Pokemon Center to the right, I believe. You can also steal them with Thief from Roggenrola and Boulder, or you can get Everstones from the Digging Duo. The next thing you're going to need is a Destiny Knot. If you have not picked up one of those during the game, you can buy it at the BP shop in the Hammerlock Pokemon Center. I don't remember how much. I think it's like 10 BP. It's quite cheap, but I think you'd normally pick one up before the end, but if you need one anyway. That carries over 5 random IVs from both parents' pool of 12. But that's important for getting the max IVs, building it up to get it as good as possible. The next thing you're going to need is a Flame Body Pokemon, like Colossal. Anything with Flame Body's fine. It just makes the eggs hatch twice as fast. You don't need this, but it's really slow without it. The other thing to get that'll make it easier is the Oval Charm, which makes it more likely to discover eggs as you're breeding. The Oval Charm can be found with Miyamoto at the Sirchester Hotel. You're going to need the IV checker, which you can get from beating Leon at the Battle Tower. You only have to do like 6 battles or something in singles. Once you beat Leon, you get the IV checker. You need a high IV Ditto, preferably at least 5 IVs, which you can get, which I showed you how to get from a video, which I'll put in a card at the top if we're still allowed to do cards. I'm not even sure if we are. You need to get one of those, otherwise it's going to take forever. And you need a Pokemon that you want to breed, and a plan for how you want it to be. And either a Ditto or a Pokemon in the same egg group with the nature you need. Or in the case of what we're doing here today, we're doing worst case scenario. We don't have any Dittos with a modest nature, and we don't have any Pokemon in the same egg group with a modest nature. So what we're going to do is we're just going to breed until a modest one happens, because it's a pretty high likelihood, because you're going to be hatching a lot of eggs. And then once that modest one does come out, we're going to put the Everstone on that and keep breeding until we get to the perfect one we need. Let's get into it. Now the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to fly to a Pokemon nursery. It's up to you which one you use. I've been using the one on Route 5, but you can use the one in the wilds as well. It's up to you. In this case, after that, we're going to grab the Pokemon we need and our best Ditto. We've got a 5 IV Ditto here. We don't have anything with the right nature, otherwise we'd breed it with that, with a Everstone, but for now we're going to breed it with a good Ditto that is holding the Destiny Knot. So we're just going to have Destiny Knot on the Ditto and nothing on the Duraludon for now, and then we're just going to breed them together until we get a modest one. Now if we had a Ditto or another Pokemon in the same egg group with the right nature, we would breed our Duraludon with that first, with the modest Pokemon holding the Everstone and the Duraludon holding nothing. Breed them once, then the baby would be the right nature, then we'd start breeding that with the Ditto, and the baby Duraludon would hold the Everstone, and the Ditto would hold Destiny Knot, and you'd breed that over and over again. Now my strategy is, each time an egg hatches, we check its IVs. If its IVs are higher than the ones that have been left in the nursery, we swap them over. The one we put in first has 0 perfect IVs, but the Ditto has 5. As soon as an egg hatches, we check its IVs. If it has more than 0, perfect IVs, then we take our old Duraludon out and put the new Duraludon in. And we keep doing that because each time that increases the chances of the baby being exactly what we want it to be. Now, because we don't have a Pokemon of the right nature that we're breeding it with, once we do have one with the right nature, we're going to get that to hold the Everstone, and then it'll breed with the Ditto that is already in the nursery until we get exactly what we're after. This is all it takes, just iterations, transferring them over as they get better and better, keep swapping them over. Now we're going to hatch around 50 eggs or so depending on our luck, and incrementally change out the Duraludon that is in the nursery with ones that are better as we go. And I'll bring you back when we get a modest one, and then we'll see what happens from there. Okay, so after about 45 minutes or so of going in circles breeding, we have got ourselves a modest Duraludon with 4 IVs. The only one it's missing for our purposes is defense. So the next step is to equip this Duraludon with the Everstone and breed it with the Ditto that is already holding the Destiny Knot in the nursery. Then we're going to start biking in circles again until we get exactly what we want. Now, if we were going for a specific ability, it would be the same case, except you would have to keep going until that right ability showed up. But in this instance, the ability isn't relevant. It doesn't really matter for what I'm doing with it, so we're just going to keep going, take whatever we can. But if you need a specific ability or a specific gender, that can be a problem. Like if you're breeding Salandit, then you need to make sure it's a female as well. So you might need it to be a female, you might need it to have the right ability, and you might need it to have the right IVs as well. So it can take a lot longer depending on the Pokemon. And just like that, 10 minutes later, we got ourselves an actual modest, perfect Duraludon with perfect IVs. By perfect, I mean the 5 IVs that matter in this case, so everything except attack. So you can follow this exact procedure for most things. This is a very basic guide. It doesn't cover passing down abilities, it doesn't cover passing down, say, Pokeballs, it doesn't cover passing down egg moves and stuff like that, but this is the most fundamental basics. Hopefully I made it simple enough to follow, short, concise, and easy for you to get into it. It's not hard, they're making it a lot easier all the time, which is fantastic. Yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoy breeding some awesome competitive Pokemon. Let me know if this guide helped you at all, and maybe I'll make a more comprehensive guide on breeding in further detail about egg moves, natures and abilities and stuff like that. Stuff that's a bit more complicated if you're breeding something specific. But as a general rule, if you're breeding egg moves, you want the male to have the move and the female to be whatever Pokemon you want at the end. Okay, that's enough rambling from me. I hope this guide is helpful to you, genuinely. Thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.